Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. How's everybody today? This is Sunday morning. It's time for some Sunday comics, and I was saving this issue for Two Beards, One Comic, but I haven't heard from Kelsey. Geez, Kelsey doesn't even know I was in a car accident, as far as I know. So if anybody has heard from Kelsey Shannon, tell him I'm just, you know, hoping he's okay. Hoping he's okay. Haven't heard from Kelsey in a long, long time. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this. I know I was going to do Star Wars, but geez, I can't find issue number 4, and I can't just skip to issue number 5. So anyway, this is Sunday Comics, Micronauts number 1. There we go. There's the number 1. And before we start, I thought I would filibuster a bit till people fill in. Let's all raise our Tim Hortons coffee. There we go, Tim Hortons coffee. Oh, let me take a sip first. It was a mobile station less than a mile away from my house. They demolished the whole thing and just dug up the lots, pulled out these huge gas tanks. God, who knows how old it was. You know, I remember I'm only 4 years in this area. And I was like, wouldn't it be nice if they put a Tim Hortons there? So yes, they built a Tim Hortons a gas station with a huge Tim Hortons in it, right less than a mile away. Because I would drive all the way. I don't know, it was like a 20-minute drive to the other Tim Hortons just to get cans of coffee. And then sometimes at work, I transfer trains right before the airport. And there's a Tim Hortons, but it was like $25 something for a can, But the one out here by me, it was like $16 a can. Jeez, that's a big difference. So now they got one by me. Maybe my wife and I will drive to Tim Hortons today. So again, I'm filibustering. We got Comics Raider. How you doing, Comics Raider? How's everything? I love that avatar. Who drew that? That is pretty creepy. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? How's everything? Hope you're having a good day, Marcus. People sure love the Tim Hortons. Yeah, it's my favorite coffee. It's my favorite coffee. Starbucks is just like, I don't know, burnt. As far as coffee goes, I like Tim Hortons, my favorite, then Dunkin' Donuts, then like 7-Eleven, and then like if this Starbucks is the only coffee, I'll just say no. Wawa, yeah, Wawa is good. Wawa is really good. It's just that there's no Wawas here in New York. But whenever I go to my sister's house in Jersey, I go to Wawa. Tim Hortons does have good coffee. Yeah, and they used to be my favorite donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are like the default donut. Just donut, boom, you get Dunkin' Donuts. But I never really cared one way or another for Dunkin' Donuts. You bring a box of Dunkin', and I'm a slob. Don't get me wrong, and I like my sugar. I got a sweet tooth, but somebody shows up with a box of Dunkin' Donuts, I'm like, take it or leave it. I don't really care. And then when my wife introduced me to Tim Hortons, I was like, these donuts actually have taste. They have flavor. They're still mass produced, donuts. But at least they have flavor. Like you get a maple donut, you can taste the maple. You get a chocolate donut, you can taste chocolate. Whereas Dunkin' Donuts just taste like sugar. So I like them. And then of course I discovered local small bakeries. There's one that there's one my wife and I drove all the way out to like the artsy fartsy areas of the North Fork for these donuts. They were like $5 a donut, and they were cake. They were cake in the shape of donuts. I didn't particularly like them, but it was a day out. And then there's a place that just opened right by me, like walking distance. And they're not bad. They're not bad donuts. But my still all-time favorite donuts is the Peter Pan Bakery in Brooklyn. I love those donuts. I'll drive all the way out to Brooklyn once in a blue moon to get a box of donuts. I get a dozen donuts, white cream, just for myself, and then I'll get like whatever assortment, for my wife. But it's the same bakery that at the end of that Spider-Man, when the multiverse, you see Mary Jane working in a bakery. That's the Peter Pan Bakery. That's the place. So everybody's saying hello to each other. You know what? I got to do the right thing, I gotta show off my Instagram Indiegogo comic. So this is Heroic Tales. This is Heroic Tales on Indiegogo. I'm going to show the trailer again. What? Look at that. That is. Oh, I didn't show it. I showed the wrong thing. Okay. Did that work? I hit the wrong button again. Here you go on Indiegogo. You can get the Renzo cover. There's the back cover, and this is what I keep trying to showcase is this Mike Gustovich cover. You know, it's on Indiegogo right now, and the Indiegogo link is right here. Pick this up. I'm probably gonna start printing this week. You know, I'll start, talking to the printer. It looks like all the kinks have been worked out. Looks like the comic is 100%, at least file wise, finished. It. What do they say? Put to bed. It's put to bed. So the only step next is the physical printing. So that worked. Yeah, I know. I'm such a klutz. So there we go. The comic Bill is gonna send me the corrected files today, and the last thing we were working on is the letters page. So I'm all excited. I have a question though. Okay, serious question. Let me know what you think in the chat. Do I start sending out the PDFs to, or do I wait until I physically start shipping? You know what I mean? What do I do? Do the people who just paid $6 get the comic like a month earlier than everybody else? What do you do? I'm of the opinion that once I put at least one in the mailbox, I'll start sending out the PDFs. You know what I mean? Just to try to, you know what I mean? Some people paid $40 and some people paid $6. But whatever. What do you guys think? All right, so let's talk about Micronauts. Let's talk about Micronauts, baby. All right. Again, this was a comic, 1978. Still only 35 cents. And yes, this is the copy that I got off the shelf. Oh man, I wonder how much of this I just love, or how much this is nostalgia. But man, I love this comic. This is Dave Cockrum and Al Milgrom doing the cover. This is a Croyer. A Croyer was the bad guys in the Micronauts. It was a little confusing because a Croyer's name is a Croyer. That's like my name being human or earthling, but he's Prince Acroyer of the Acroyers. Yeah, send out the books and the PDFs at the same time. That's what I'm thinking. Just trying to be fair. Guys, you have no idea how. I'm sure you do. I'm so nervous about the actual fulfillment. I wanted to hire a service. I wanted to hire Critical Blast, but I don't think that's just at this point. That's just another expense I got to absorb. You know what I mean? And then how do I do it? Do I mail him all the stickers and coins and glasses, and then mail them out? So I'll next time I'll be smart, and if I make swag, I'll send it right to him. But whatever. All right. So this is a Croyer. He's the Prince of the Acroyers. Think of them as like the Klingon race. They're a race of warriors. And one of the things that I always thought was cool about them is that in this comic, they are born that they live from the planet Spartak, and when they reach a certain age of physical development, they are welded into their armor. So they wear body armor that's welded in. This is Commander Arcturus Rand. As far as the Micronauts toys are concerned, he is a space glider. Space glider. That's what he's supposed to be. Space glider was a little toy that had like a backpack, and you hit the button, and the wings would pop out. And it had a little helmet. I love Space Glider. Oh my god, that was so cool. I had a couple of various colors. This is Marionette. Now I don't know if they designed a toy Marionette, but there is no Micronaut named Marionette. So I don't know if Marvel owns the rights to Marionette or not. So I don't know, because no toy has ever came out, as far as I know, named Marionette. And then this is Bug. I forget which Micronaut Bug was supposed to be, but Marvel owns the rights to Bug because there is no Micronaut. So as far as I know, these are the only two that Marvel can still do. And then, of course, this is Baron Karza, the big bad guy. And the thing about the Micronauts is they were modular. Like, you could take them apart and reassemble them and everything. So that was just so cool. That was just so cool. Yep. Marcus, Marionette and Bug are Marvel creations. He looks cool, but does one really glide in space? Well, chalk it up to translation errors from the Japanese. So the Micronauts were they Mattel or I forget. There'll probably be an ad inside the comic, but they were toys. They were Japanese toys, and then somebody brought them to America, and Bill Mantlo saw his kids playing with them, and apparently brought a whole bunch of toys to Marvel, and so we got to make a comic about this, and talked him into it. And I don't know why, but Bill Mantlo became the licensed guy. He wrote Micronauts, he wrote ROM. I think he even wrote like Crystar, the Crystal Saga, And then he wrote a horrible run on Alpha Flight. Oh my god, that was terrible. But so I have a lot of affection for Bill Mantlo. He wrote some of the comics that are just so memorial to him. Did he write Shogun Warriors too? That would be funny. Hey, good morning, Crenshaw. How you doing? All right, so let's open this up and check it out. This is the fantastic first issue. Okay, I talked about this a million times before, so I'm not really going to talk about it, but this was just a big plastic immovable Spider-Man that was constantly in this shape with motors inside, and when you put the batteries in, the motors would pull the so it would like pretend to climb up the walls, but it was in that stupid position. It had like little sensors in his feet. You put it in a helicopter, the helicopter's wings would rotate. It was terrible. I loved all superhero toys as a kid, but I'll pass on this. So now we got Homeworld, Bill Mantlo, Michael Golden, Jeff Rubenstein, Al Milgram, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. Look at this. Look at this. Look how good this is. So it says Bill Mantlo, Michael Golden are writers, storytellers, and artists. Just great opening page. Great old-fashioned colors. Look at that. You got this black fading, and just the sky is black. These are Croyers flying in space, after them. And I love the to me, this is I mean, this comic is ripping off Star Wars. Let's call a spade a spade. This is just Star Wars in another form. There are Tom Orzowski letterer and Glynis Wynn colorist. I want to make sure everybody gets their credit. And you got this space just from the sparse coloring and sparse background. It sets up that it's alien, futuristic. You got these warriors flying up there, the Croyers, and then the good guys are riding on horseback. It's like the Star Wars, where the what Corellian Corvette is just small and overshadowed by my favorite spaceship of all time, the Star Destroyer. I found this while cleaning yesterday. I love the Star Destroyer. It's one of my favorites. And so it just, and Spurrier, for the love of Dallin, my prince, the Croyer Air Patrol dogs are on our heel. So they're fleeing from the Croyers. And who's fleeing? Prince Argon and Princess Mary flee for their lives, pursued by the shadow of rebellion. So this is a Princess Marie and Prince Argon. And this is their elite force, and they're on horseback being pursued by basically armored warriors, and here are the Croyers over here. These are literally like copies of toys. And here we got the space battle going here. Pew, 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 I just love this. Just setting up the futile, and this again, the sparse background's just enough to set up how futuristic and alien it is. We caught them in a crossfire. Look at this. By Dallin, half my retainers gone, but we must make it to shelter. Too late, Prince Argon. The Croyers are upon us. And again, these are drawn right out of the toys. This is some sort of toy. And these red missiles. The Micronauts had a spring loaded. You push them in, you feel the tension, and then you push the button, and it would fire these. If you look at them head on, they were circles, but if you looked at them side on, they were egg shaped. So they were blunted flat, and it was perfect because they were cool looking, but they were rubberized and safe. But at the same time, the design was so cool that you didn't mind. You know what I mean? When you saw all what they started doing, maybe a few years before this, they wouldn't have had any rubber on them at all. It just would have been a hard plastic missile right down your throat and choke. But now they put these safety design, but a little bit of cleverness, and it made it so that it in my mind, they fired bombs at you, and they were mine. This is how it worked in my brain. So it fired, and when it hit you, it detonated and just exploded the hell out of you. Oh my God, I loved them. I loved them. And then we got the dog soldiers, they're called. And just look at this. They're just being ripped apart. I don't know why, but that just seemed so violent and over the top unnecessary that it just, to me as a kid, it set the stakes of just how bad and desperate this battle was. That red always signifies danger. Oh, just so cool. So cool. I'll address the chat once I get to the bottom of every page, now that I'm full on and here we got these dog soldiers. I like, that rip off of stormtroopers, but I like this because you see their arms, so that they're human, but at the same time, their faces are covered in these masks. So they have no individuality, but they're human at the same time. And again, the background is all yellow. You don't need it. You don't need it. This guy's in shadow over here. Just so cool. I don't know. It just, and then look at this pack. You see the light come in, the orange light. Guys are creeping about. Oberon is the name of his horse. Prince Argon is leading his sister, Princess Marie, into this, safe house, this hidey hole, and only like one or two of his personal retainers made it. It was just a desperate battle to get the prince and princess to safety. I mean, it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars all over again, right? All right, let's adjust the chat. Micro horses. No, well, this is the Micronauts, so it is established in the Microverse. So let's talk a little bit about the Microverse as far as Marvel Comics. The Microverse is a wonderfully illogical concept that, you know, it's only it can only work in comic books. So what it is you know, it's some stoner Marvel guys must have made up, you know. But like, you remember that scene in Animal House when, like, so you saying like one atom on my finger could be like a solar system, you know? And you know, this is the kind of stoner stuff that like stoner first year college kids daydream about, you know. And that, me too, you know, I'm no different. So what it is this is a molecule. This whole planet is a molecule in somewhere, and you shrink down to the size that a molecule is the size of a planet, and they make maps of the Microverse later on. So that's the conceit. Is this universe is a subset of our universe that's accessed through shrinking. Now, once I started getting really into it and started thinking about it, I'm like, well, where is it? You know, a molecule is tiny. Like, is it an air molecule that floats around? Like, so is it, how is it that Reed Richards can shrink down in the Baxter building and get to Homeworld, this planet? And how come, you know, the Avengers upstate New York, you know, could shrink down and get there, and Phil Moskowitz could shrink down in Florida and get there? They changed it that it was a parallel dimension, that the shrinking process sent you through, like, you hit like a mass point that creates a portal and you get teleported. So you're not really on the molecule, but whatever. Which implies, could you grow and access another dimension? Yeah, I don't know. Has Marvel ever explored that? But that's the conceit of the Microverse. Because, like, in Florida, because it's established by issue 3 that the Microverse is like in some kid's backyard. So how does Reed Richards access it? How, you know, because of magic science. Call me a typical Gen X, but give me this faded yellow paper with muted colors over shiny glossy paper with foil cover. Yep, these are common. Absolutely. I don't know if you guys are seeing this for the first time. I don't know. I think they just printed out like an omnibus of like the first 12 issues. The first 12 issues are just epic. I think it includes an 11, and then 12 is just like the first standalone new issue. But again, the colors look too garish when they put them on the newfangled paper. Like, they really got to rework the colors to make it look like this faded. I absolutely love it. I don't know if it's, you know, like, people that are new to comics. So I don't know, you're 18 years old and you walk into a comic book store and you buy the Micronauts Omnibus Collected. I wonder, is that the, you know, and then 30 years later they see this and they're like, nah, these colors don't look right. You know, is it just because that's what I'm used to? Probably. I'm not arrogant enough to say that I'm what I like is the best. PDFs and digital are nice, especially since housing isn't affordable. People have to move. Yes, physical is a luxury. Absolutely. I don't want to say that I was talked into PDFs. At first, I wasn't going to offer it, and then I had the guy who does Unbreakable Argonauts. I think Marcus is drawing a cover for him. We were chatting, and it was his chat, and he said, "I want to back your book, but I live in Ireland, and you know, I'm $40 just to ship a comic to Ireland is not good." And I was like, "Yeah." Because of him, I offered a PDF. You know, Mego made all the Micronauts. Mego. What did I say, Mattel? Yep, Heroic Tales is still on Fund My Comic. It's still available. I gotta. You know, I'm going to get the proofs made up, and then I'm going to put in the order. So if you want copy, you know, because I'm not going to be able to print much over what is in demand, you know, just being the cost that they are. So if you went in on it, get on it now, and especially if you want that Mike Gustovich cover. If you want that Mike Gustovich, now is the time. Now is the time. Don't hesitate. I think flat colors is superior most of the time. I agree. I agree. That's why manga is doing well. Same type of paper as this, or same type of paper as the omnibuses. I got to admit, I haven't bought one of those. I would like to just out of curiosity get one of those. Of course, not printed in Japanese. I'd like to get one of those big phone book size. What do they call it? Like Shonen Jumps or something like that, of all the various manga. But it has to be in English. I can't read Japanese. Wolf and Bear, how you doing? How you doing? Just everybody saying hello to each other. Hey, Ken K, sounds like that recent Ant-Man movie. Yes. How you doing, Ken? This is a new name to me. Good to see you. Yes, Ant-Man shrinks down into the quantum zone. So I don't know if they say quantum whatever zone, because Microverse might be trademarked with Mego. I don't know. Anybody know? Yeah, quantum is basically the same concept. I still got to see it. Yes, you drew Ashley. That's his name. I couldn't think of his name. Let's take another sip of coffee and we'll turn the page. And speaking of which, I was convinced that Bug was going to make an appearance. I thought Bug was going to make an appearance, and it's a shame that he didn't. And then like grow up and join the Guardians of the Galaxy. That, to me, that would have been the best fit. Look at these ads. Look at this ads. Has anybody not seen this ad before? Calendars. Look at that. I just love all this stuff. I love all this. Heralds a great new year of Marvel greatness. We got the calendar. We got the Hulk book. I love all this stuff. All right. So now we got Princess Mary. She takes off her hat and she's beautiful. This is just, I love this stippling. Or maybe it's another word for it, but these dots on the face, the color. I just love the way the light's coming in over here. There's Microtron. Microtron was another toy. This is like literally how it looks. So Microtron was actually big, and Microtron's head, it snapped open, and you could actually sit one of so the Micronauts were like 3 inches tall. So Microtron must have been like 9 inches tall, but they called him Microtron and they wanted an R2D2 type, so they made him small, which I think works. So Sepsis, have mercy. Mother and father slain, the palace guard. With the palace guard, why did the people not rally to us? Microtron, perhaps they preferred what the evil one has to offer them. So this is real interesting. So Baron Karza made our citizens a more concrete offer, the assurance of immortality. So Baron Karza, this is like a sci-fi feudalism. There's the king, the queen, and the king and the queen are benevolent and nice. And the chief scientist, Baron Karza, he discovered how to make the masses immortal. So what it is, but it's real creepy. There's the body banks. So what they do, they're playing up on the fact that the Micronauts are modular. Like you could take their hands off, you could take their feet off and pull their heads out and swap them around. So of course that came into the comic book, but in the most creepy, sinister way. This what they call the body banks. And the poor, if you're poor, starving, hungry, whatever, you sell body parts. And Baron Karza found a way to make it so that rich people could buy body parts. So your heart's going after years of abuse, buy a new heart. So people just, you could become immortal. Just get a younger body, get a younger, you know what I mean? But I don't know why they don't clone them. But that's part of the story is they just I guess it's easier just to buy body parts from other people. So there's things called the body banks. And the body banks are just warehouses of preserved body parts. And where do those body parts come from? The poor. People sell their body parts in the hopes that sooner or later they'll hit their fortune and I'm never gonna die. So they just gave unlimited power to Baron Karza, and then he overthrew the rightful good benevolent monarch. And then the time traveler shows up. And who's the time traveler? The time traveler is the personification of the Enigma Force. This we know everything and say nothing, that show up like kind of like the Watcher, kind of like the Force. Think of the Force from Star Wars, but with the personification. That's what that is. It's blatant Star Wars. It's instead of the Force, it's the Enigma Force. How'd they not get sued? And I just love how they draw it, like it's kind of faded out with this greenish hue. It's just so cool. So Princess Mari is a little bit more realistic than Prince Argon. Prince Argon is like the old ways, the Enigma Force, trust these prophecies, and she's like, no, like we can't compete against a absolute monarch, an absolute despot, really, not a monarch, that offers unlimited life. He's like, we have to fight. And he's like, no, trust in the Enigma Force. And then we got this toy. This toy was called the Hydra. I love that toy. And here's a side view of those missiles that I'm showing you about. Boom. They just fired bombs. You know what I mean? Like, and then we would have it like they were like in my mind with me and my friends, because you had to physically load them. So we were pretending they would fire, and then like they would recharge. But what they were like organic. They would roll new like organic bombs and then fire them. Like they were like plant-based explosives or something like that. Because that's what kids do. They fill in the blanks. So now the rockets have blown up. They found their safe house, and now we have to fight for our freedom. They even look like the rebels from Star Wars. And blah, my prince. It is Prince Argon, Baron Karza. He still lives, such as my order, Shaitan. And here comes Baron Karza. Baron Karza, remember, they were modular. So Baron Karza had all of his limbs could be removed. His head, you could separate his torso, and he had a horse called Andromeda, and all the limbs could be removed on Andromeda, and you could swap them out. So you could make this like centaur. You know what I mean? So he just shows up in like this centaur form, and he literally, there were springs, and he would fire his hands, so they're incorporating all of this stuff into the toy. And this is Shaitan. This is the usurper of the Acroyers. So Prince Acroyer, the rightful ruler, we didn't see him yet. And now Prince Shaitan, he's the younger evil brother who was promised power if he pledged loyalty to Baron Karza. I don't know if there was ever a toy that looked like him, but what do I know? So let's look at the chat now. Okay. It's funny, back when people could wait for better paper. Yeah, I know. People couldn't wait, and now, be careful what you wish for. I will go on record in saying that I think Image Comics overall was a detriment to comics rather than a benefit. No hat hair, innate elegance, I guess. Oh, when she's taking off the hat, yeah. Well, she's got long, beautiful hair. I'd love it if they started reprinting 60s, 70s with the new glossy paper. I'd say that would sell. They do. They sell up facsimile issues every once in a while. And I remember Dan DiDio was lamenting that the facsimile issues and reprints were selling better than new comics. And instead of reading the writing on the wall, they just railed against it. Hey, Stippling Vaughn is here. Is it Stippling or is it? It's Zipatone. It's Zipatone. I couldn't think of the correct term. Now my nose is running. Oh God. So basically, Fauci. Yeah. It's a joke, but you're right. Baron Karza is basically like the WEF personified. He's what's that guy's name? Klaus Schwab. It's ridiculous how absolutely villain this guy's. Klaus Schwab is a supervillain in plain sight. He even dresses like Dr. Evil. I wonder if that movie Repo Man cribbed parts of the story. Well, I'm not going to say that they ripped off the Micronauts, but it's what so much. There's so many science fiction stars. I wonder if Micronauts ripped off something earlier. With Soylent Green. But there's all of these stories where, rich people buy body parts off of younger people. It's like so natural. It's such a natural thing to think of. Fauci and eugenics have been around forever. It was funded by the West and Anglo-American establishment, promoted by population. Eugenics. we've been doing it. Everybody, we're still doing it. We just changed the word. Yep. I absolutely agree. I have Micronauts toys. Yeah, I loved them. I loved them. This is one of Golden Rubenstein's line work. In this issue, some of Golden and Rubenstein's line work is lost. All art, the bad guys. All art, the bad guys is literally that's where the art and yep. Rockefeller had 7 heart transplants. Yeah, and what's his name? Rothschild. He's still alive. The guy's like, he's what are they doing to keep this guy alive? And I mean, they did the same thing with Stephen Hawking. They kept him alive, because he had something to offer. Me and you, my father, as soon as he had heart problems, they didn't line up to transplant his heart. He died. I had Micronauts too, but unfortunately they were not great. They broke. Yeah, they were, especially like the time travelers. They were very. But I was I was very careful with my toys. I didn't like to break things. And I pretty much didn't let people play with my toys. Yes, eugenics nowadays is called bioethics. It's the new. Yes, it's got to change the word. We don't say Aryans anymore. We say Indo-Europeans, but we're talking about the same group of people. Speaking of paper, the Detective Comics 27 effects was 7. I wonder if because it was on newsprint. Yeah, because everything is expensive. It costs money to print. It costs money to do everything. You know what I mean? Comic books are expensive, man. And then the Diamond gets half that money. The store gets half that money. By the time DC probably got like 50 cents out of that. You know what I mean? That's why crowdfunding is the best deal for the creator, because they get to make the most money. Unfortunately, not this creator, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, like Aaron Lopresti, he's making 60 grand on Wrath of God. He's spending, he's doing the work, he's doing everything like that, but all of his expenses, I can imagine it's probably 10 grand, and the rest of it is his. You know what I mean? Because because that's pretty much what I'm spending. And I mean, I'm also hiring an artist. Stephen Hawking was on Epstein Island. I know. However, they did inspire me to buy issue 1 the week it came out. I had an immediate crush on Marionette. Whatever happened to her? Yeah, Marionette's just lost. They do say it costs more to print on newsprint. I can't prove it. Well, the thing about newsprint is you have to print like thousands of copies. Like I looked into a newsprint, but my buddy's brother-in-law, he was like laughing. He goes, "Yeah, we could print 100,000 copies." What am I going to do with that? How much is that going to cost me? It's going to cost me $60,000. Something like that. So, that makes you wonder how they survived selling 12-cent book back. Well, back in the day, there was printing presses everywhere. There was a million printing presses. They were printing newspapers. They were already working, so they would print at night. They would just, because it was just cost effective to keep those things rolling. And then there was so much advertising in the comics, and everybody was buying them. Economy of scale. So let's turn the page. Ken K. Let's look at these ads. I mean, look at all of these people paid. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 people paid. 1, 2 people paid over here. You know what I mean? Like, people were lining up for advertisements in comics. And now we got chapter 2, the Endeavor. This is like paradoxically the worst and best ship design ever. And I don't know, Marcus, was there ever an Endeavor toy? Because where did they get this freaking design? Because like there's a lever over here that you pull this lever to open it, so it looks like a toy. You know what I mean? Like, why would you put a lever over here? And obviously that lever, you turn it and it opens up this hatch over here. But You don't need that in a comic book. So why did they make it? Like, is the Endeavor a toy? That's always been the eternal question. Did Bill Mantlo and Mike Gold, do they have access to toy designs that just never saw the light of day, or they were only in Japan? I don't know. Because this section released, and it was the Astrolab. They did have an Astrolab toy. I always wanted it, but I never had it. So there we go. So here comes the ship just phases out of space. And look at this. This hatch opens up, and Arcturus Rand comes out. And he's like, yes, I'm Arcturus Rand. He goes, dog soldiers set, fire. He's like, what's going on? He's like, Biotron, seal the hatch. Let's get out of here. Boom, boom. So here he is, a conquering hero, comes back from a deep space mission, and the dog soldiers fire on him, and he gets captured, and he's thrown into a pit with monsters. Now, why did they not kill him? It's actually quite brilliant. I'll explain it in a minute. But look at this. So this is the hero, and it's funny because, like, he's obviously the Han Solo character. Nobody cares about Luke Skywalker. Nobody cares about Luke Skywalker. We all like Han Solo better. You could give as Christmas gifts. Yeah, but I have to lay out the money first. Clark bars used to be manufactured in Pittsburgh, John. That plant and the Heinz ketchup factory were both turned into yuppie condos. Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Do you have any of the original Takara toys that became rebranded as Micronauts and Transformers? I have a bunch of the henshin. I just had Micronauts, and I ripped them out of the package, and I played with them until I lost them or broke them, and they do no longer exist anywhere near me. And I remember years later, they made Micromen, and they were smaller. They were smaller than the Micronauts. And I read someplace, I think it was Toy Fair magazine, that they took Micronauts and basically used an existing toy as a model. And so, they took a Micronaut, they put the plastic around it, and then use that as a mold, and somehow that process makes things a little bit smaller. I don't know, but maybe it's whatever. They probably had model sheets for possible future toys Larry had. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. The Helopolis, the Micronaut ship, did have a great design somewhere between Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. Well, this ship is called the Endeavor. I don't know, is the Helopolis what it was called in the in the spreadsheets or something? Because this is the Endeavor. Meanwhile, aboard the HMS Endeavor, that they had a battle cruiser, but no, yeah, I had 2 battle cruisers. How cool is that? I had 2 battle cruisers. I saved up and I bought one, but my parents already got me one for Christmas. So I had 2 battle cruisers. They were $22. I remember that was like a fortune. So they take Arcturus Red and they throw him in this den of monsters. And then we got another ad over here. Star Wars special action figures, X-Wing fighters, remote-controlled R2-D2, posters, pendants, rings, plushies, a calendar. You want Star Wars? We got Star Wars. It's fun for everyone. Soft, juicy chunks. No sugar to harm your teeth. Okay with moms of the world. Great taste. Soft and sugar-free. Blammo soft and sugar-free bubble gum. Who does this art? This art looks so familiar, but I can't place it. Marcus Stippling. I know you guys probably know. Okay, so here we got. So now he's in like a prisoner pit, and the monsters are look who's here for dinner, and they're gonna fight. And then, I love this. He gets picked up, and then punched, and we got Bug and a Croyer. Their innate goodness already detected the innate goodness of Arcturus Rand, and here you go, buddy. I heard that Bug was based on the Galactic Defender. Yeah, I think that's Galactic Defender was somebody else. This was the Croyer toy. This is literally exactly what it looked like. Hughes Space Glider. That's going to drive me nuts who he was. I want to say Galactic Defender, but I think or Galactic Warrior, because Galactic Defender is the one with the helmet and the wings and everything like that. Then there was Pharoid. Oh my God, I loved all of these toys. So now that, he takes off his helmet and he's showing them all, and they're all talking. So the team is forming. Right now we have the core nucleus team of Taurus Ran, a Croyer, and Bug. And they're sitting, and now they're looking out the window. Look at this. Look at the lighting over here. I just love this 3-panel sketch. So they're in complete darkness because they're just in a dungeon. They're talking, and this light sets up the light for this panel and this panel. I just love it. And he looks out there, and what do they see? They see Microtron dancing a marionette. So they're like, what's going on out there? And they're all just watching this marionette puppet dance, and I wish Karza would market that model. You mean the girl or the robot? So she's just in this flashy clothes, and we all know it's the worst kept secret who Marionette is. It's Princess Mari. You know what I mean? She's hiding in plain sight. She's putting on this makeup. She's looking like a toy, and she's dancing around. So I wonder, was there a Marionette toy in the works? Okay, I'll address the chat. I had the battle cruiser, but no Endeavor. Yeah, I don't think they ever made an Endeavor. It must have been in the works or planned or whatever. I don't know. I think it'd be cool if John covered Shogun Warriors number. Yeah, that's yeah. Remind me. I followed the first few issues. They were preserved in Marvel canon the way. Right. Shogun Warriors. That's one thing that bothered me flat out. Godzilla and Shogun Warriors were my least favorite of all the licensing because it was just like a gut feeling. I knew they were like ephemeral. They weren't going to last too long. You know what I mean? Same with the Human Fly. Did anybody remember the Human Fly? Like, I knew that they couldn't exist within Marvel for too long. But Micronauts lasted in a weird way, and ROM lasted in a weird way. But yeah, that Shogun Warriors and Godzilla. I got those comics, but I just couldn't commit to them. I couldn't commit. I knew they were a temporary fling in the night, just like Paula. The idea of toys being customized to swap limbs remind me of the Gladiator Defends. The Gladiator Defends of the Other Dimension. I don't know what that is. Oh, Galador Defenders of the Outer Dimension. Galador, is that from ROM? Could you elaborate on this? Superhero Enterprises became Superworld. Oh, okay. I had Takar Chronoform Robot with AM radio. Coolest thing. I don't know that. I always loved Bug. He was such a wise ass full of quips. Acroya was always too damn. Yeah, they were foils. It works. Commander Octaris Rand is the perfect man. Logic and reason, but emotional at the same time. He falls in love with Mari. And then on one hand, he has the stern advisor who is a Croyer, serious, warlike, super logic. And then on the other hand, he has Bug. This works for Captain Kirk with Spock and McCoy. These dynamics work for a reason. I thought she would be Marionette. Yes, that Princess Mari is Marionette. I just figured everybody knew that by now. Did I spoil it? We got the entire Henshin Cyborg line as toys possible line. We were going to import and rebrand the toy company I worked with still. Oh, wow. When you say we, who is we? So here we got, they're just watching. Bug, is that crowd saying that girl is a roboid? Yep. She sure got them fooled. Why, man, that's... And then Okoye grabs him. As ever, you talk too much, little one. So Bug knows that that's Princess Mari, because Bug and Okoye are part of the resistance, part of the other... Because she's beautiful. So he thinks she's a robot, and he's got the hots for her. But, that's Princess Mari. Yeah, and Princess Mari was supposed to be gorgeous. I always thought, like, she would be played by somebody like back in 1977. I'm trying to think, this is before Pamela Anderson, so I'm thinking of like Susan Anton or some Vavoom chick like that, And then look, just line work with some zipatone in the background, some gold, just sets up the futuristic silhouette. And here we got Baron Karza in his human form with his hooded advisors, and then Prince Shaitan over here. And what are they doing? they're going to have a lottery. This is just brilliant. This is just brilliant. They're going to have a lottery where a couple of poor people are going to receive organ transplants and body transplants and have like a new life, you know? And what's going on? They see that the crowds are watching Marionette and Microtron, and they're not liking it. People are like, that girl, you know? So, Prince, you know, you there's too many people. So they're inside the pits watching, and now they have the death tank. So this was Phobos, and then I don't know where this is, but Phobos was like a giant humanoid, two-legged creature, but you could replace things. So this was probably another toy that I never had, just interchangeably changed. So the death tank is going to kill all of these worthless people. So there you go. Let the games begin. Just look at that. I love it. I was alive. Hello, Justin Retro Things channel. How's everything? It was a live action TV show with toys. I think it was made by Lego. Oh, this Galador Defenders of the Outer Dimension. It was a live action show. I never heard of it. Cool. Justin, happy Sunday. Good morning. Resource Toys was the toy company I worked for. Okay. They were the we. Every employee got one of the 12-inch cyborgs, but they all gave it to me because they knew I was obsessed with Takara toys. Cool. How's your comic coming along? Hey, John, can I come up on the panel? Are you doing an open panel? No, Sundays is just me and a comic book talking to the chat. You know, I have a lot of open shows, but this is one of them that are. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Fight me. I saw you commented. Critical Blast. Rebroadcast one of my shows. I wasn't live yesterday. I don't think I did. Yeah, yesterday was a rare day. I didn't do anything live. The only thing I did yesterday, as far as the internet was, I pre-recorded an hour-long talk with Mr. Berger. I don't know if he's going to edit it or not, but he's going to broadcast that on Tuesday. So that was the only thing I did yesterday. And my wife's church had a fundraiser, chili contest and everything like that. Oh man. So I went down to her church and ate chili, ate burgers, ate ice cream, and then came home, took a nap like a slob, and then I just woke up all energized. And you know, for those of you who don't know, I broke my neck. You know, I took the brace off on Wednesday, and I was just like, all right, I just was all energized, and I just started cleaning. You can't see, but I kickstart comics. I crowdfund comics. I crowdfund board games. There's just been months and months and months of boxes just all over. So I just was like, I'm going to start organizing down here. So I spent all day doing that, and it just felt good to be productive. It was such a good day. And then my wife and I went out to just a late night dinner at the diner. It was a real pleasant day. So I did not broadcast or anything yesterday. Broadcast like I'm fancy. Arthur Adams famously passed out Michael Gold's Micronaut issues to his friends because he loved the art so much. Yeah, me too. I love this. Are you guys liking this as much as I do? Oh, it's so good. Did Micronauts come out before Micro Machines? Yes, I think so. I remember Micro Machines coming out a little. I was older when the Micro Machines come out, but that's what I think. Thug has 49 pages done, 19 to go. Then I have to color the whole monster. Cool. Interesting. I loved the Micro Machines as a kid. My dad would buy my brothers on different Micro Machines to play with. Yeah, I remember being a young adult, and I was like, I want to buy the Micro Machines, but I didn't. I really wanted to. Hey, Marcus. Art Adams always talks about this book. Well, for good reason. So here we got the Death Tank, and let's turn the page. We got Jaws 2. Just when you thought the waters were safe again. I never thought the waters were safe. I have I don't want to say a fear, but I'm going to say a healthy distrust of the ocean. The ocean, you do what you got to do, ocean. And I've been watching a YouTube video. Let me take a sip. I've been watching YouTube videos about the prehistoric oceans and the creatures and monsters that lived in the. Oh my God, it's nightmare fuel. So here we got meet the Micronauts. So Commander Arcturus Rand. Okay, so we'll do a deep dive into all the characters right now. You know, so this is going to spoil. This is going to spoil. But Arcturus Rand, remember, the ship landed, it warped, it landed, they fired at him, threw him in a prisoner. Why? This is why. One of the first of the spacefaring Micronauts. Same exact story as Vance Astro. So he was put into. He is the son of Dallin and Sepsis. Remember, Princess Mary and Prince Argon were invoking Dallin and Sepsis. So they are the rulers from 1,000 years ago, the sacred rulers. You know, like the Black Prince of England and Prince King Arthur and stuff. So they are the legendary rulers of Homeworld, and from their line is descended the kings. So he's the son of Dallin and Sepsis, so he's the rightful king of Homeworld, and he volunteered to explore the microverse. So he was put in suspended animation in the Endeavor, and the Endeavor took off. Now this is what I found fascinating. His body slept, but his consciousness was imparted in Biotron. Biotron is the C-3PO character, and Biotron would explore, and then every once in a while he would wake up Princess Arcturus Rand's consciousness, and then almost like a writer, his consciousness would explore space while his body was still in suspended animation, but his mind would be active within Biotron and explore. And he did that for 1,000 years. So his body is young, but his mind has 1,000 years. And sometimes he encountered things that Biotron would delete from his memory to keep him sane. You know what I mean? So when he wakes up, he has dream-like recollections of all the stuff that he encountered while exploring space for 1,000 years. I don't know about you, but I love that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. What did I encounter in space? I vaguely, oh no, you know, and it's because it you know, had to keep his mind safe. This is Marionette, Princess Mary of the Homeworld's royal family. So this is his great grandniece or whatever. Ooh. Baron Karza, the chief scientist, ruler of the body banks. Bug, master thief of the insectivoid race, feisty and fearless. This is Acroyer, prince of Acroyers. You know, so it's just like human, king of the humans. You know, and he's got the energy sword. Prince Shaitan, his younger brother, the usurper. Biotron, this is Biotron, and Microtron. So this is the C-3PO and R2-D2 characters. And the Shadow Priests. The Shadow Priests are these mysterious cloaked beings that advise Baron Karza. And, you know, we find out more about them, I think, around issue 10 in the easiest to guess reveal ever. And then the time travelers, about whom we're not saying anything. I just love this. And before I turn the page, let's see what everybody says. We got, oh, okay. Heroinberg. Hey, how you doing, Heroinberg? Did you enjoy local comic shop day yesterday? All of us at New Dimension with article. Oh, he's talking about Marcus. I didn't know anything about comic shop day. I would have went to a comic store because yesterday, let's say, it was just such a pleasant day for me. Morning, y'all. And my wife, where is it? Where? Oh, did it disappear? Oh, my wife makes this. She calls it scramble. It's like a trail mix kind of thing, and she bakes it with like spices and some sort of sauce that she makes. And the whole house smells like she makes it every autumn. You know, she calls it scramble. I love it. But she was making that yesterday while I was cleaning. It was such a pleasant day. You know, Saturday night, and here I am cleaning my basement. My wife is upstairs making scramble, and you can't ask for a better day than that. I love the character lineup on that last page. It was super helpful getting into the saga. All comics should do that. Yeah, yeah. Or make it super easy to figure out who the characters are. That's I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm reading Graveyard Shift, and they just throw characters out. And I'm like, well, who's this guy again? What does he do? Why do I care about this guy? You know what I mean? It seems to be something like, since Image, like Marvel used to really introduce the characters. Like, call me crazy. Am I right? Am I wrong? But it used to be, if you got a Marvel comic book, you knew who every character was. You know, I'm saying used to. And then Image came out, and it was just throw characters out there, throw characters out. So, you know, I don't know their names. I don't care about them. You know, it just seems to be, that's, again, I'll say it a million times. I think Image Comics overall, in the grand scheme of things, was not a positive thing for comics. The Micro Machines commercials used to make me anxious because of how fast the announcer spoke. Yeah, Micronauts did come out first. I was in 6th grade, Mr. Golden's class. My mom got me this book, and I misread that. I was in 6th grade, Mr. Goldstein's class. My mom got me this book, and I really did not like the cover. Well, you're wrong. You're absolutely 100% wrong, and I hate you, because we all know in the internet age, if we disagree with somebody, that means we hate them. Ocean is a very familiar yet alien place. To me, it's not familiar. I'm like I said, I'm scared of the ocean. This weekend was long for me. I was teaching CPR first aid classes. Oh, well, that's a noble thing. A little extra money and giving people information that they need. I don't go to the ocean either. Humans were not made for the water. I like to swim, and I used to like to swim in lakes until I saw about like lake monsters. You know, I watched a couple of those, and I'm like, oh, pools are fine. Pools are fine. Local comic shop day is a continent-wide promotion done by Comics Pro. It's not well promoted. Yeah, well, I didn't know anything about it. I'm super into comics, and I didn't know. Exploring space in a robot while you sleep sounds cool. Yeah, I was fascinated by that concept as a kid. You know, that's why some of my two favorite Marvel characters were Arcturus Rand and Vance Astro. You know, both of them have similar stories. Except Vance Astro's story is a little bit more tragic in the fact that they put him into suspended animation, and by the time he got to Alpha Centauri, warp drives were invented, and it was already colonized. So he got there, and they had a parade for him. Yay, but we've been here for hundreds of years already. You know, couldn't they have got his ship and woke him up? But whatever. Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer a human leading the humans, even as bad as we can be. Yep. I don't want robots to lead. Microtron was a girl robot, personal assistant of Mary. Really, I never assigned Microtron a gender. You know, it's gender at birth. I just thought of Microtron as a micro because he's not human looking. So it's like giving a washing machine a gender. You know, like did anybody give R2D2 a gender? Although he had that penis that would come out and make the Death Star its bitch. You know what I mean? But like, I C-3PO is a guy because he looks like a guy and he has a guy's voice. But R2D2, I never gave a gender to, neither did Microtron. That's interesting. That's interesting. That makes me think of it a little bit different. It's funny. There are 3 or 4 comic shops pretty close to each other in the center of Charlotte, but none of in the South. Okay. I sent you a link on X to Thug's theme song to check it out. You and Brian are the only 2 besides me who have heard it. Oh, I mean, an elite group of 3. Oh, let me know what you think. I know I have good musical taste. Not according to my wife. I was blasting Freedom Hawk yesterday. I did say it. I'm only kidding. Please, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Please don't get mad, David. I'm making fun of internet culture. Not, you know, I'm don't you know, please take it into consideration. It was just a joke. Okay, you get it. I'm just making fun of the internet, right? In the internet, if you know, I like chickens. You like chickens. I like ducks. We hate each other. You hate me. I hate you. You're a Nazi. Even though I do not with you, I disagree. Now I'm starting problems. Oh, geez. But there you go. Let's turn the page. It's Milgram, isn't it? The cover is Dave Cockrum and Al Milgram. So I wonder if they did the design. Is this how this is is Michael Golden. This is just shots from inside this comic book. Now we got Pizzazz. We got Pizzazz over here. We got Crossman. Look at this. Back then, advertising BB guns, rifles, you know. And now we got, I don't know what it is, but this always, so the death tank just, it fires. They don't just fire light lasers. Okay, so boom, they fire explosive bomb energy. So boom, people get hit and they just get ripped apart and flying. So this is how I turn everything into talks about villains, vigilantes, but there's a power called Power Blast. To me, this is how Power Blast works. It just hits and explodes you, you know, and they're like, holy mackerel. He goes, remain here, Commander. Our prime function is to safeguard you. Because you are the X Factor, Commander, that which Karza fears. You know, so already he's the chosen one, you know, so he's a mix between, you know, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. And how much better would Star Wars be if they just merged Han and Luke into one character? You know, and now Bug's jumping around. I've always loved Bug. I always wanted to see a Bug and Nightcrawler comic. How cool would Bug and Nightcrawler? So Bug is just jumping around, throwing bombs. So he grabs a bomb off a soldier and throws the bomb into the death tank's eye, where there's like a slat between plates. They're escaping. Of course, Prince Shaitan, fear not, our nervous ally. All goes according to plan. So Karza's just relaxed. The Shadow Priests are like, you know, the Shadow Priests are telling him we got to let Arcturus Rand go, because he'll lead us to the heart of the rebellion. He'll lead us to the Enigma Force. And that's what Karza wants to know. He wants to know about the Enigma Force. So, spoiler that you learned in like issue 2. In these memories that Arcturus Rand can't access, he knows the secret of the Enigma Force. You know, and that's what Karza is looking for. You know, it doesn't matter what, because why else would he keep the rightful ruler of the world, the legend? This is King Arthur returning. Why would Karza let him live? Because Karza needs to know the secret of the Enigma Force. And the Shadow Priests are saying, you know, if you kill him, you're going to learn, you know, kill him if you want, but then you're never going to know about the Enigma Force. So now this thing gets blown up. I love this Acroyer. Just, you know, I would love to see an Acroyer and Colossus fight. To me, they were similar characters, you know, very similar to the X-Men. You know, I would love to see like Bug and Nightcrawler and Acroyer and Colossus, you know. So now they're tapping him on the shoulder and boom, the Enigma Force shows up. I have many names, Commander, but I have lived them all. Some call me the Enigma Force, but you shall know me as Time Traveler. And now, Commander, I think it's time to make our escape. So now the Time Travelers are, you know, manifesting to help Arcturus Rand. Okay, I just love this. I just love this. A lot of comments. Leave it to the French to give genders to machines. All cars are female. Yeah, well, that's you know, we did that to a certain extent. You know, like in Spanish does that. La cama, the beds are female. You know, and just like we used to call hurricane ships. And that's, oh my God, this is what drives me nuts. I was talking with one of my niece's crazy friends. Gender is a social construct. Yes, the concept of gender is a social construct in language. Like Spanish having la playa, the beach, as female. And French, that's a social construct. But in biology, it's real. And somewhere along the line, some academic, you know, because they're like, yeah, gender is a social construct in languages, but not in biology. And then somebody conflated the two and told stupid college kids. And now I got my niece telling, but Uncle John, no, gender is a social construct. I'm like, yes, in linguistics, in language, it's a social construct, not in biology, you idiot. But anyway, he did the Avengers annual cover too. Yeah, he did the whole inside, Michael Golden. Such a great artist. Such a great artist. Chicken hater, long live the Ducks. You like the Ducks, then I hate you, I despise you, and I a pox upon you and your socks. A pox on your socks. Was that Darth Vader on the cover? No, but Baron Karza is purposely evoking Darth Vader. This whole comic is purposely evoking Star Wars. I mean, this is 1978. Star Wars mania is in full effect. You know, and one thing we know about entertainment If it's good, it's going to get copied. You know, it you know, and I can't even get mad at that because look at all the superhero comics. I love Captain Marvel, who is, you know, an homage to Superman or a ripoff, depending on your point of view. To the patriarch, my character, it's purposely evoking Superman. You know, it worked. Yeah, I mean, you know, what do they say? Imitation is the serious form of flattery. So there you go. That's golden. Yeah. Space glider, totally different. I got to sneeze. Oh, sound effects. Sorry, guys, I got to sneeze. But oh God, womb, flatwomb, spakaw. Yeah, these are good. I have a few sound effects in my comic. It's fun. It's crazy how good Golden was from the start. He only has gotten better. Absolutely, absolutely. Disclaimer: this is the work of literature, and every resemblance to people, events, actual fiction, or copyright are totally coincidental. It's good when villains have a good reason to not immediately destroy the heroes. Yes, and they make it clear. They make it clear for 78. So I was born. So I was 10. I was 10 years old, and I totally understood the motivations. I totally understood all this stuff because Marvel comics, they were well written. They were so good. Just look at how much is happening. I'm up page 22. Look how much has happened already. Compare this to 22 pages of an Image comic. Mill Group did the Avengers annual cover too. Oh, thank you. Bless you. Eric the Guapo, you should definitely get this book. It totally reminds me of Star Wars. Yeah, it's purposely evoking Star Wars. In the 70s, machines used to be gendered a lot. In retrospect, it was pretty great. Think of the ballad, the normal Warm Leatherette during the car crash set. Oh, yeah. Yep, Warm Leatherette. That song used to give me the creeps. Ships, all yachts were she. Hurricanes were she. You know what I mean? So now we got, the death tank is destroyed by a Croyer. Again, more ads. This breaks my heart to see the Charles Atlas ad reduced to this. One of the greatest ads in comic book history, reduced to that. A safety wing. There was a big push for bicycle safety around this time. They put those flags on the back of your car, big reflective flags. And then we called them sissy bars. They put these like round helmets, but it didn't last too long. So now we got full on battles over here. As they started a riot, and then look at this. Okay, this is the first time you see it, but it's graffiti, and it's like a Sanskrit type writing, and you start seeing it here. And somewhere along issue 4, you start to realize that there's messages in the comic. Oh my God, I love that! And I think it was around issue 5 they actually published the Micronauts alphabet. So you could go back and read these hidden messages. Oh my God. You got me. So they made up their own language. I mean, yes, it was just a cipher for English, but it was so freaking cool, So Shaitan is like, what's going on? He's freaking out. And Kaz is just like, calm down. So they said to the Acroyers, and this is literally what the toys look like. This is literally what the toys look at. So Arcturus Rand just starts becoming a leader, starts yelling, and Prince Acroyer, who, I'll say Prince Acroyer to differentiate him from one of the Miller Croyers, just starts battling them all. And again, you get this like hinted backgrounds, subtle colors, but your mind fills in everything else. They're running. I love this. I love the sequence. So we got a Croyer over here. You know what I'm talking about? Like good comic book art. Your brain animates it. So they're running, and because of the body language and the twist, I just picture Prince Croy's head just turns and he sees, and then he grabs this guy pursuing him and then throws him on the ground. Boom. And then the second one, he just cuts his head off. This is totally animated in my brain. Oh my God, it is so good. And now they run up and he finds Princess Mary, and he's like, what? Dalan and Sepsis, get aboard. they'll be swarming us seconds. What did you say? Karza's dogs? No, not those names. Dallin and Sepsis were the first to defy Karza almost 1,000 years ago. So Baron Karza is 1,000 years old because he discovered the body banks, and he's been keeping himself alive. He goes, the Dallin and Sepsis rebelled against him, and they paid for their folly in the body banks. So he killed Dallin and Sepsis, his parents, and put their body in the body banks, meaning that they just became fodder for other people to use their body parts. Since then, they've been deified. They are symbols of the resistance. By all that's holy, they were my parents. And then the time traveler goes, yes, I know. Oh my God, this is Shakespeare, 10 years old. Oh my God. And my dad's friend is going to tell me comic books were nonsense. He actually, have you heard the story of Dallin and Sepsis? They gave their life. They became symbols of the resistance. How dare you say comic books are not literature? This is so good. This is so good. Marvel reprinted this on glossy paper. It's cheaper to buy than the original issues. I know it is blasphemy, but I like the reprints, but the art is clearer. Blasphemer! That means we already established that means we hate each other, and everything you like is wrong. That means you're a neo-Nazi, and you're probably a racist too. In Star Wars Legacy, Cade Starwalker was an amalgamate of Han and Luke. Very cool. Oh, okay. Is Cade like the son of Luke, or is it just like an alternate? I don't know anything about that. I never read anything Star Wars besides a couple of the comics. I read more Star Wars comics lately than as a kid. Star Wars was for movies. You know what I mean? All these internet idiots need to go to a bar and watch football. People talking shit about each other all day, buying each other. Yep, absolutely. This like yesterday, I spent the day cleaning, and my wife and I went to the diner. We went down to. It was just such a pleasant day. It was nice. You know what I mean? Just go outside, spend time with people, interact with people. You know what I mean? Because this internet stuff I like it. I never would have met guys like Stippling and Heroinberg and David Elise. You know what I mean? Like meeting them. But this is not real. You know what I mean? And this becomes too real to a lot of people, and they gotta, I don't know. And it's easy to insult somebody because you don't see their facial, I'm preaching to the choir. So let's turn the page. We got the Bolton Bulletins, Stan Soapbox. So this is Stan Lee talking to you. You better believe I did not read these as a kid, but I read these now as an adult. So good. These are items. This is just comic book, usually Marvel centric stuff, and it made you know what's going on, But it was, not to the point where like Stippling Vaughn is a jerk because he said something about Heroinberg, and now we should hate him. We should form teams and do the 2 minutes hate. Anybody get that reference? 2 minutes hate, because that's what CG has become. It has become Big Brother has decreed the 2 minutes hate. And even though you never met so-and-so, we are now required to, like right now, 2 minutes hate on Zach, right? Your boy Zach was 2 minutes hate on Zach. He is now the Oscar Goldberg. I refuse to participate in that kind of stuff. I love this ad. Captain Marvel. Okay, so I thought maybe it said the artist, but I love this. Is this Rich Buckler? Marcus would know. Who drew these ads? Oh, fruit pies. Fruit pies are horrible, and only monsters eat fruit pies. Oh, keep that in mind. Only monsters eat fruit pies. So now we got this page over here. Prince Shaitan is like, why are you letting them go? He goes, Shaitan, there's an unknown worker here, that which we cannot fathom. Must be made to reveal him. So Karza, he's letting them go, just like Darth Vader let the Millennium Falcon go, because he's leading them to what he wants. Baron Karza wants to know the secret of the Enigma Force. He's been waiting all this time. He's been waiting, centuries for this moment, because now Arcturus Ran is going to lead him to the Enigma Force. So I love this. He's got this energy blade. He's guarding. He's just a strong, stoic, powerful protector. I know. I always like this character. I like them all. They all serve their purposes. You know, Bug is the comic relief, agile, jumping around. He's got a rocket lance. So he's got this lance. He stomps it, and then it fires off a rocket. He holds onto it, and he flies. And then he uses the momentum to beat the crap out of you. I love Bug. Arcturus Rand, I always love the cool pressure leader guy. You know, he's Cyclops. He's Captain America. You know, he's that kind of guy. You know, the non-powered guy in charge of all. I love that trope. You know, the normal human, even though he's 1,000 years old and has unknown secrets locked into his brain. And here's Biotron. You know, the Endeavor takes off, and I love this. They played this up at the first couple of issues, and then they kind of stopped. But I like this. So now they're in space in the microverse. Notice there's no stars. You know, it's just a void. And to me, that made it real creepy and alien. You know, like, I guess stars are friendly, and you're like, oh, there's places of warmth and light. And I love this. So the Acroyer ships are firing, and the shields are just deflecting them, so that it's like water off a duck's back. They're not even hitting them. I love that, because this ship has some surprises left, and we're through. So boom, they're hitting these shields, and now they're into the time. So the outside of this like void area through these shields, and now they're going through the fabric of the microverse. So what are they doing? Next issue, they're on Earth. So, like it says right there, Earth, don't dare miss a senses shattered issue, because they're just blindly jumping to get away from Kars's dog soldiers. And then we got this over here. We got full color posters, Sean Cassidy, giant size Sean Cassidy, Cheryl Ladd, Farrah Fawcett, Grizzly Adams, the Dallas Cowboys, is Cheryl Teagues. This is like what I picture like Marionette to be like a woman like this. Just, and Parker Blue, they're just dreamy. They're just dreamy. Legos. This is when Legos like tried to age. You know, little kids played with Legos. Now adults play with Legos, but back then little kids played with Legos, and then they aged up into these like, with gears and everything like that. So there you go. There's the first issue of the Micronauts. Let's check out the comments. Where am I? True Dat Marcus. I appeared at a comic convention yesterday. It was really sad. No kids are interested in comic books. It was a different, yeah. What was it, just adults walking around? Like, yeah. That Ed looks like Sal Buscema. Okay. Cade was a descendant of Luke Skywalker. Okay. Cade Skywalker is kind of a cool name. Is watch football the new touch grass? Well, Stippling Vaughn, every Sunday, he does a show from his local bar, and he draws, and you know, so I guess Stippling is a barfly, so he's watching football at the bar and doing YouTube, because that's what men do. No, they should go out and play football. That way they'd be actually, yeah. It's difficult to really run a collective like Herding Cats. It's easy to pin up anger and fear against the foe. Yeah, and that's what they do. They created us versus them, and it rewards you. Now, oh, I'm on the us team. I'm not on the them team. You know, I understand it. I understand it. It makes sense. It works. It's human nature. I'm just wired weird. You know, I'm one of those, you know, Groucho Marx. I don't want to join any club that would have someone like me as a member. I have happy news for you in that case. In my area, we have lots of kids and teenagers showing up. Oh, nice. That is awesome. Comicsburg is technically a collective, but we have limited to 5 people. And then whenever you pull, it works. Okay. Yeah. Communism works when you have like less than 10 people, and they're all like emotionally invested in each other. Like that's why monolithic cultures work. You know, multicultures do not work. You know, like Rome. You know, Rome was diverse in the fact that they had different skin groups, different religions, stuff, but it was a monoculture. They all thought themselves as Romans. And when they started thinking themselves as Teutons and Gauls, that's when the Roman Empire fell apart. Ta-da! So anybody have anything else to say? As normal, what do you guys think of this? Does anybody know what the reveal? Does anybody know what the secret of the Enigma Force is? Does anybody want me to spoil it? Do you want me to spoil it? I'll drink my coffee and I'll wait a few minutes. Tell me if you want me to spoil it or not. Just giving everybody time to think about whether or not they want me to spoil it. And in the meantime, I'm gonna, guys, Mike Gustovich cover, Mike Gustovich cover, Mike Gustovich cover, Mike Gustovich cover. You know, I got to send Mike 5, and then I think I got 6. So what? Only 11 of these. You know, one for me, so that's 12. So this is gonna be the rarest. This is gonna be the rarest cover. You know, I'm gonna CGC one. You know, put it on eBay for $1,000. You know, but this is gonna be the super rare cover. Oh, we got 2 for the spoilers. We got 2 for the spoilers. People in the 70s were hot as hell and had great hair. I bet. Yeah, I bet you. I bet you. You know, I love watching those you see videos of like people at the beach. You know, this is the 70s. You know, I wish I was as fat as I thought I was in high school. You know, a friend of mine sent me a picture from prom night. We were on the beach the next day at prom night. Me and my girlfriend and his girlfriend and my friend Jimmy and his girlfriend, who's now his wife. And I'm sitting on the beach, you know, in my bathing suit. I'm like, I thought I was fat back then, man. I was in good shape, you know, and I thought I was fat. But Jimmy, you know, and Brian was a stick, you know, and Jimmy was like muscular. I just wasn't muscular, you know. But oh man, I wish I was as fat as them. There were kids at the comp, but they were all interested in was buying video games and anime prints. Yeah. Yep. Get Indiegogo. Get the Mike Gustovich cover. To all those who say we need more girls in comics, the amount of times I've seen a group of teen girls going through the bins at Sandman the Cross. I need more hand. Yeah. Need is a funny word. Do we need more people buying comics? We don't, you know, do we need more Lithuanians buying comics? Who decided we need more? Like science needs women. Like science doesn't need anything. Science is a process. That's like saying gravity needs more women. You know, it's just an abstract thing, you know. It's a process. We don't need nothing needs anything. What's the correct number? Give me the number. What's the percentage? You know, that's one of the things that Zach said that I wholly agree with. Like we all agree that numbers that are wrong are 0. You know, we don't want 0 women in comics, and we don't want 100% women in comics. So the correct number is between 1 and 99. And that's it. That's as close as we can come to is the number. The only thing I missed from my high school is my hair. I started balding at 21. Yeah, I had such a head of hair. I mean, I look more bald because of this light shining down on my head and then this haircut. But I'm doing okay as far as hair is concerned at 56. Okay, so I'm going to spoil it now. I gave you plenty of turn. If you know. So keep in mind the Enigma Force is embodied by the time traveler. It's Arcturus Rand. Arcturus Rand, when he finally gets access to all of his memories, he is the Enigma Force. He is the time traveler. Ta-da! So the shadow priests, they take off their robes. They are also the time. There's one time travel, but they time travel, so it looks like there's a whole bunch of them. And what are they doing? They're advising Karza to his own downfall. Oh, it's so brilliant. Oh my God, it's wonderful. It's so good. Oh, I loved it. So it's Arcturus Rand in 1,000 years in the past, flies off into space. His mind comes in contact with all these cosmic secrets. He learns about the Enigma Force, and then he time travels while he's in suspended animation and advises his enemy on his enemy, just like, oh yeah, I'm going to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. And he's just manipulating to let himself win. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then once all of this happens, just like the whatever, he shuts off access to those memories and becomes just a human again. It's so good. Guys, it's so good. So good. Science will literally explode unless we get 41% of more scientists to be. Yeah. Gravity will contract. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. 4D. And is there any wonder I am so super particular about time travel stories? So super particular about time, because it spawned from stuff like this. It's so brilliant. It's so good. I hate the idea of you time travel creates a whole other universe. Then there's no consequences. Then you're just a child. Just I'm going to time back in the past, and now it's a different universe. Where did that energy come from to create a whole nother universe? You know what I mean? Like you could just my decisions create a parallel universe. How? We can't make enough energy to fly a rocket in space without pollution and all this stuff. But your decision creates a whole universe. It's arrogant and it's sloppy, and I hate it. I hate it. On that note, interesting stat I read: vinyl LP sales are now almost as large as in the 80s. Difference is half the LPs would never listen to. Girls use them. Yeah, I've been buying LPs, but they're expensive. They're like $40. LPs used to be like $9.99. You know, I guess because there's less factory. Back to the Future did time travel. No, because the photograph can't fade. Either the photograph was created or it wasn't created. It can't fade. That bothered me so much. The second Back to the Future, I freaking loved when he was walking around. That I loved. And one of my favorite bits of time travel is in Bill and Ted's, when they're like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the, when this is all over, I'm going to take the time machine. I'm going to grab my dad's keys and I'm going to put them behind that bush. And then he walks over and picks up the keys. He goes, just remind me to go put the keys there. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah. My favorite trilogy too. I still have never seen the cowboy one. I've seen the first two. I got to sit down and watch the third Back to the Future. We'll use time travel to create a tailored utopia for each person. So there you go. This is brilliant. Why would it not fade if the consequences? Because if his parents didn't have children, then they couldn't have taken a picture, right? Even as a kid, I'm like, how could, I mean, I understand it was good for the movie. It was a good visual cue to show you the success and everything like that. But logically, either the picture is created or it's not created. And if it's not created, it can't fade. You know what I mean? Like, what energy is causing the pigments on that piece of paper to move? You know what I mean? So there you go. Like, that's the way it is. Like I liked when and that's why in my world, I'm actually going to draw a map of time travel at some point. There's one timeline. So if you go back in time, you're going to encounter stuff that already happened. So you cannot kill your grandparents. You can't. It just can't happen. Why? Because you can't. Grandparents got older, had kids, had your parents, and had you. So you just can't kill your grandparents. If you do go back in time and kill your grandparents, now imagine a line. You go back in time and kill your grandparents. At that point, you created a paradox. And this circle, is a bubble, and that bubble is a paradox, and it like will pop off the timeline, and it just becomes like this circle, and you could be trapped. So from the perspective of everybody else, you just see a line. You see me at this point get into a time machine and disappear, and I'm basically dead to everybody else because they don't know. You know what I mean? I went here. I just created this loop that doesn't really affect anything else. And in my way of thinking, that's fragile, like a balloon. Boom, 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 boom. It's like a soap bubble. Eventually, it's going to pop. You know what I mean? So paradoxes take care of themselves. There's going to be a whole some point in Heroic Tales, there will be a whole confusing time travel story that'll explain all this. The picture itself, yes, the picture was either created or not created. So the fact that he has a picture is proof that they were born. If he, you know what I mean? So, but then again, this is pop time travel. You know what I mean? But it works for the context of the movie. You know, it takes time for consequences. They're instantaneous. If I go back in time and kill Hitler, then Hitler never existed. So there could be no memory of Hitler because he never existed. Like I'm talking, if I go back and kill infant Hitler, then there's no memory of Hitler. Then there's no reason for me to go back in time. It can't happen. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? If I go back in time and kill Hitler, I created, so I disappear. And that's it. That's how it looks to everybody outside of me. I just went back because it can't happen. I'm stuck in a paradox. You know what I mean? You can't affect the past. It happened. Past happened. There's one timeline and it happened already. You know what I mean? That's why I love this comic book. You know, and if you accept multiple dimensions and stuff like that, where's the energy? So you're saying that your time machine, you know, your magic spell or your time machine or whatever, that has enough energy to create universes. That to me is the part that so it that time machine refocus that energy into free energy for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I just hate that. A pair of docs. Thanks to Mr. My own grandpa. A character group kills his ancestor. Turns out he was adopted all along. See, now that may work. But no, that doesn't work because unless there's a memory of that person dying, you know what I mean? Unless that guy died, you know, was killed by somebody, or he already had, but then, you know what I mean? If it happened, it happened. It happened. Coincidentally, there was a screen accurate Back to the Future DeLorean at my car. Yeah, I there was one at the convention that I went to. I took a picture of it. Just Google. Yes, there's a Micronauts. I think there's from Image, and I think there's one from IDW, and they use different characters. And I think the IDW one, the Arcturus Rand was a woman, probably a lesbian too. I hate multiverses, multiple timelines. Yep, absolutely. And I will say that there's different there's a multiverse in Heroic Tales, but not carbon copies. You know, because each universe has slightly different laws of physics because of their position in the grand scheme of things. And because of that, things are slightly different. So there's only one John's Longbox. There's only one Eric the Guapo. There's only one Patriarch. If the Patriarch is killed, he's dead. There's nobody, you know, the only thing is somebody else could become the Patriarch because it's not like you can't take somebody else's name. But the Patriarch, Jim Kelly, is dead. You know, if you go to the next universe over, it's different. You might not even realize that you're on Earth because it looks so different. And that will be explored in I think issue number 5 with a super team called The Misfits. To save your memories, go back to change history, go back to the present, upload the saved memories, but you can't change the past. It happened. You know? You can't. That's why I like Dr. Manhattan. You know, he's experiencing it all. He can't, you know, it happened. You know, if there's one timeline, and if it happened, it happened. Back to the Future time travel, mostly a consequence for time traveling was consistent. Right. You know, I hate that the time stone, Captain America got punched by Thanos and was basically killed, and then they used the time stone to so time travel like resurrects the dead, and you know, it's just so bad. I hate the Endgame. Marvel Endgame was the ruining of the Marvel universe with all this time travel, multi dimensions and everything. It just opened up the door to consequences don't matter. 1983, 1984 Micronauts special edition reprints. Right. Yes. I have those too. The Micronauts was such a big hit that they reprinted it in better Baxter quality paper for it. And I think it was like $2.95. And there was 4 issues, and I think it was 1 to 10. Because I think I keep saying 1 to 12, but I think it was 1 to 10 was the story. To you changed the past, but to everyone else has always been, no, can't change the past. These are my rules. That's why 12 Monkeys is one of the best time travel stories. You know, if it happened, it happened. It happened. You know, if you accept that there's other timelines, then you have to accept that you create universes. How do you create? You know, I got a cup of coffee. I got a soda over here. I'm going to create a universe by grabbing the soda instead of the coffee. How arrogant. Where did the energy come from? You know what I mean? Nothing matters. Just create another universe. You know, it's an arrogant, human-centric concept that babies make up to make themselves feel important. You know, time travel and death is no time travel and death is permanent. I do like the concept of time travel. Time travel is such a fast, but it has to be done correct. You can't alter the past. You can't change. You know what I mean? If you go back in time and meet yourself, if you have no recollection of meeting yourself, either you are unconscious, you know, you had a disguise, or it never happened, you know, or you know, you were schizophrenic or something like that. The energy comes from solar panels and wind turbines and burritos, you know, gas power. So there you go. Physics lesson, ethics, not ethics. Yes, 12. That's why I say the first 12, because Michael Golden left at issue 12. That's why I said, but I think the story was 1 to 10, and then he stayed 2 more issues and then left. Sujo Black. Hi, Uncle. You're welcome, niece or nephew. Or the rewind time theory, rearrange everything in the universe how it was in the past. It's funny. Spoiler alerts for a story that I'll probably never get to. But in the Heroic Tales universe, there are 2 MacGuffins. There's the infinity object and the eternity object. The infinity object is the ultimate in space, in moving from point to B. So it grants infinite speed. So you could travel instantly anywhere. It's the embodiment of all linear space, and that is an object of quest. This is my versions of the Infinity Stones. So there's 2. There's the infinity object, and then there's the eternity object. The eternity object is the embodiment. So infinity object is the embodiment of the x-axis, and then the eternity object is the embodiment of the y-axis, time. And that is the one loophole where you could make paradoxes and alter the past. Why? Because it's this godlike MacGuffin. But without these 2 objects, like the infinity object, you could literally move planets up along this axis. But those are the only 2 MacGuffin objects that will allow you to change things on a planetary, galactic, metaphysical scale. Because it's comic books. I like the concept of going back in time, but you can only witness the events. Yeah, that is like time travel tourism. Like you become like phantoms. I kind of like that idea also. And also, you go back in time, you bring diseases. You know, my wife always goes, if you could go back in time to any time, where would you go? And she's like, I'd like to go see the birth of Jesus. I'm like, you'd create a plague. You'd kill off the entire population. You couldn't speak the language. You know what I mean? You would. And she's like, you're no fun. You know, and I said, I'd like to go into Roman times and walk the streets of Rome. Again, I'd either die of the disease or spread a disease. I wouldn't understand the language. I said, but ideally, realistically, you know, like after World War II, you see all those soldiers and sailors getting off boats. I would dress up as a sailor and just materialize in the crowd, just come walking out, and with my knowledge of sports and history and stocks and stuff like that, just live like 40 years like ultimate millionaire, buying comics and investing in the right things and making World Series bets, and living the life of Riley. There was a book about time travel called by Jack Chalker, Down Timing the Nightshade. When you time travel, you actually replace the character in that time. You are an extra person. Yeah, I'm looking over there. There's a board game called Time Stories, and that's what you do is you project your consciousness into other people's bodies. That's one way around the paradox. There's ways around it if you're clever, and that's the thing. Is you got to be clever if you want to do a time travel story. Anything that's done can be undone. I think of the second law of thermodynamics. Okay. Go dinosaur hunting with laser rifles. Hey, John Snowden. Well, issue 4 of Heroic Tales is going to be called Let's Save the Dinosaurs. So they're not hunting with laser rifles, but it is a time travel story about saving dinosaurs. Got to go to church. Have a blessed day. Good to see you. Seeing the world before the Great Flood would be very interesting. I am terrified of prehistory. I'm not going anywhere near prehistory. Ooh, giant freaking scorpions. Oh, no way. No way. You go. Exactly. It was a good book. I would like to go back in time with the pizza. I would just deliver it to the first person I see and then go back to the... I'd confuse them. I like to go back in time to like me when this comic book came out and be like 2008 Bitcoin, and then disappear. Or 2004, whatever Bitcoin. Just pay attention to Bitcoin. But there you go. All right. Hour and 46 minutes with Micronauts number 1. I angered people with my hardline stance of time travel. I've angered people with my hardline stance of internet battle. The 2 minutes hate. Oscar, what's his name? Oscar Goldberg, right? Was the object of the 2 minutes hate in 1984. Yes, 2008 Bitcoin, be a billionaire, save up for it. By the time 2008 comes around, I would have had a nice, if I concentrated, I could sacrifice. Don't buy any comic books, stay with my parents, just save and then put it all into Bitcoin in 2008. Then I can buy all the back issues I want a couple of years later, right? I'm not angry. I'm always angry. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. This was a lot of fun. This is, I think, one of my favorite. Yeah, this is one of my favorite things I do on my channel, and it's all because of the interaction with you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do anything live today. I don't. Again, my comic. As soon as I hear from Bill, I'm going to start talking to the printers and start scheduling my comic. It's happening. Here's my schedule for the week. Tuesday, D2 Comics at 7 p.m. And then Mr. Berger, we have a pre-released talk with Mr. Berger. As soon as I get the links to that, I'll let you guys know. Wednesday, it's Nandor at 7 p.m. And then I'm on the Fourth Age for Comic Book Team Up on RJ's channel on Wednesday at 8:30. And then Friday, I have a Comic Book Team Up with whoever wants to show up. Usually it's Marcus, myself. We're going to talk about Cyborg First Deathlock. At 3 p.m., Edward Arts and I are going to do a crowdfunding 101 again. He couldn't do it. It was scheduled for last Friday at 3 p.m., but his father went in for surgery. His father's doing good. His father's recovering well. So he didn't have time to do a live chat with me. So we reschedule that to next Friday. And then Saturday is Sunday Comics again. Sunday is Sunday Comics again. So that's my week's worth of scheduled stuff. As always, since I'm home and actually feeling a little better, maybe I might do a comics grade or something like that. And those are the shows that I like to have open invites for. So there you go. Bye, John. Have a good day. I'm glad to see you without the next brace. Yeah, I shaved yesterday just so I didn't look like, you know what I mean? If you don't shape it a little bit, you look like a bum. But if you shape it a little bit, people see that you're growing a beard. So the beard's growing back. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.